welcome to Sarah's Stamping Retreat. Today I'm going to show you how to combine your dies and pattern papers to create some really cute dinosaur cards. So these two sets of dies from Spellbinders are some that I just had to have in my collection. I didn't get sent these. A lot of the things that I show you from Spellbinders I get sent, but these ones I bought because they're just so cute. So you've got this little birthday dinosaur. So you get the dinosaur and then these cute flowers to decorate it with as well. And then I just thought that this set was just really useful with all the numbers, and you can make them into balloons as well. And then the papers that I'm going to use for today are from this Buds and Blooms paper pack. And the reason I've got all these paper packs here is that when you buy this from DRK Crafts, you actually get 6 of each of these pattern papers, and I think it's something like £24 on the website today. They do currently have a sale on. And then the one we're going to use today is called Buds and Blooms, and you can see it's just loads of like pretty florals. So for this first card, we're going to make a shaped card using this set from Alex Siberia Designs that is called Nested Scalloped Frames die set. And I really love nesting dies. If you watch my videos a lot, you'll know that I use them a lot. And for this one, I've used this largest die to create the pieces that we're going to use to make the card blank, this one to cover it, and then this one is this stitched one here, which fits onto there. So you can see we're going to use 2 different patterns from this pad, this one and this one. I think they go really nicely together. I quite like pattern matching to create different looks. So the first thing I'm going to do is take one of these large scalloped rectangles, and I'm going to score that at 3/4 of an inch. You can see that that puts that just between this top scallop. So I'm just going to add some glue above this line. So I should say that although I bought the dies, the pattern papers that I'm using for this video and also the washi tapes that you'll see later were sent to me by DRK Crafts as part of my design team work with them. And that's the main reason why I wanted to be part of their design team, because they do just the most gorgeous pattern papers and they're so reasonably priced as well. And this is the first time I've seen them do this, where they put like a whole bunch of pads together. The ones that I've seen previously, they sell like single pads like usual, so they must be trying to do a promotion for these. It's an amazing price. I don't think I've ever seen paper pads at this price before, because each one is 8 designs but 30 sheets. If I just flick through this one that we're using today, obviously I've taken some sheets out for this, but you can see a sample of them all there. They're so nice. So then I'm going to add this on in the middle. And just for comparison as well, they're 120 GSM. So then I've got my little dinosaur cut out of this blue cardstock, and I'm just going to glue this bit of white behind for his eye. If you wanted the circle for his eye, you could obviously die cut his head again out of white cardstock, but I thought it was just easier just to put a bit of scrap behind. So then I can add in the black part of its eye and these cute little eyelashes, and then I'm going to add little spines to his back, and then you've got the little legs. And they've got a bit that's embossed into it so you can see where it's supposed to go. And then I'm going to add on, so I've got like a navy base for the flower, and then I've got these pink flowers. Although actually I might use the yellow ones. I cut them in pink and in yellow. Actually the yellow ones kind of match the spines that I've used. And then I've got these little green bits that I'm going to pop behind. Then that's a nice little crown for its head. And I've got this really old Stampin' Up chalk marker, but you could use like a white gel pen or something similar. And I'm just going to go into these embossed pieces on the balloon just to highlight those a little bit. I think my marker's a bit dried out, but it's fine because it's kind of doing what I want it to, just highlighting it a little bit. So then I'm going to add one of these little tabs to the bottom of it to make it into a balloon. And I think it's nice that you can use these as balloons or just numbers on their own. And then I'm also going to just add a bit of glue to here. And then I've got the balloon string. So then I'm going to add these pieces to my card with some foam pads. So then I've got this little sentiment, and I've used this Celebration Sentiments hot foil plate from Alex Siberia Designs to create it. So it's one hot foil plate that does all of these sentiments at once, and then there's a coordinating strips die that I'll link in the description below that cuts them all into strips. So I'm going to cut this strip down. I do wish I remembered to do these things before I put them on the card because it would be a lot easier. So I'm going to pop that up on foam strips. And then I can just add this little flower crown. So then there's my card finished, and how cute is that? So then I mentioned earlier I was also going to use some washi tape today. So I'm actually going to use some of this one and some of this one. These washi tapes also come as kind of a big bundle. So there's gorgeous glitter ones, these kind of cactus end graphic ones, the more kind of traditional metallic glitters, and then also kind of this love theme one. These are the ones that go best with our projects today. So what I wanted to do was make a card that has balloons on for 40th birthday. But what I thought would be really cute would be to make stripy balloons using the glitter washi. So these are 2-meter rolls, and you get 6 colours in each pack. So that's a total of 12 meters of washi in each pack. So I'm going to use these pinks and purples for this one. So I'm just going to create like a bit of kind of stripy paper by laying out different pieces of the washi. So then I'm going to take these down and put them through my die cutting machine. So then there's my cool 40. You've noticed I've changed up the background colour a bit. I actually preferred this pink with the 40 rather than the coral. So the last thing I'm going to do before I put it together is just to heat emboss a sentiment onto this purple cardstock. So I've just got this happy birthday stamp, and I'm just going to stamp it towards the bottom of this cardstock. And then I'm just going to heat emboss that in white. So as usual I'm using the Wow Opaque Bright White Superfine Embossing Powder. So then I can put my card together. So I've cut this piece of paper from the pack with that same stitch rectangle that we used on the last card, and I've just cut a piece of this purple cardstock about 1/8 of an inch bigger than it, just to get that really fine border. So then I can add that to my card front. And so then I'm going to make these into balloons. So I'm going to pop some fine pads behind these. I'm just making sure to put a fine pad over that little bit that we've added on, just to give it a bit of extra security. And then we've got another really lovely card. Okay, so then for this next card, we're going to have some more fun with our washi tape. So I'm going to use this pack this time. And there's some really cute ones with terrariums and cacti and stuff on them. I'm going to go for these three. So we've got the stripes, the green and the blue. And I am going to cover this piece of cardstock with these washies. This piece of cardstock, by the way, measures 4.5 by 6 inches. So it's just slightly bigger than the die I want to use, because I'm going to cut out one of these scalloped squares with it. Okay, so then I'm just going to die cut this using this die. So now we've got this kind of cute custom cardstock, and that'll sit on top. Then for my birthday recently, I got these brush marker pros. So these are Karen markers. Look at all the lovely colours. So I'm still finding my way with these. They're really lovely and juicy. So I'm just going to lay down some kind of block colour with them today. I thought they'd be really cute for colouring our die cuts. So I'm going to use this aqua marker to colour the main bit of the dinosaur. And they're so nice and juicy, and they go on really smoothly. And there's some really nice techniques you can do with these markers, which I'll try to cover in some of my future videos, but for today I just want a flat colour. And then I'm going to use this turquoise for the back legs. And then I think we'll go with the yellow for the spines. And then black for the inside bit of the eye. So there's a couple of nice things about die cutting it in white and then colouring. Number one is that you get a bit of texture to them where you've added the colour. The second thing is it saves time when you're die cutting, because you don't have to get out all your colours of cardstock and cut them all individually. You can just cut the whole lot on a piece of white cardstock. It's really good for using up your white scraps, and actually with this as well, it means that I can use this bit of white kind of inlaid into the eye rather than putting a piece behind like we did on the last dinosaur. So for this card I'm going to have this way. So I'm going to score this at 3/4 of an inch again, but down here instead of across the top. And then I'll add some glue above the line. And then I've got this piece of dotty paper. And again, I cut that out with the same stitched rectangle die that I used on the other cards. So then I'm going to glue my little dinosaur together. So then I want to put this up on foam pad, so I'm going to put one foam pad right across the eye, and then I'll pop the others just around. The reason I wanted to pop that one across the eye is so that then I can put this eye piece in and it's not going to be like lower than the rest of the dinosaur. And then I'm going to add on the black bit. So I'm not going to add like the flowers in the eyelashes to this one, I'm going to leave him like that. And then I've got this Happy Birthday to You, which is from that same Alex Siberia Designs foil set. And I'll pop that up on foam. And then we've got that cute dinosaur. So for this next card, I want to make a shaker card. And to do that, I'm going to colour on white and then cut out my balloons. So I've got the amber and gold brush markers, I'm going to just hold this amber one above the gold one and transfer some of the amber ink into the gold one. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to colour with the gold one. You'll see that you get a really nice transition from the amber into the gold. So I'm just going to add a bit more of the amber above this and a bit more of the gold below it, and then I'm going to do the same again, and this will be for the other number. And you can see from the bottom that it doesn't ruin your marker to do that technique. It goes straight back to the yellow at the end. So I'm going to do 70 for this one because it is my mother-in-law's 70th birthday this year. So then I cut some of these little balloon parts from the leftover pen. I'm just going to add those to the bottom of my balloons. And then I've got some navy blue strings to add to my balloons. So then for the main part of my card, I've used my Essential Arches layering dies from Spellbinders. They're another set of layering dies that I really love. And I've used the largest one just to cut a 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch card blank, and I just laid the edge slightly over this fold so that it still opens once it's cut. And then I've used that same size arch to cut an arch out of this pattern paper, and then I used one size smaller to cut one out of acetate. Then I cut this using 2 of the arches, and then I cut this using 2 more of the arches. For the frames, you just use 2 of the arches together to cut a frame. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue the navy frame onto the yellow frame first. So then behind here, I'm going to add some tape, and this needs to be quite a strong double-sided adhesive tape. So then I'm going to pop this over here, and then I'm going to glue this to the front of my card. So then I'm going to take some shaker foam and I'm going to pop it all around this arch. So then I'm cutting this right next to the join so that I don't have any shaker bits falling out. And this extra piece I'm just going to cut up and just put around the edges so I don't get any sagging. So these bits around the edges are just basically scaffolding. They don't need to be like joined to anything. So then I'm going to just pour some of this shaker mix in. It's from Little Things from Lucy's Cards. Unfortunately, she doesn't do them anymore, which I'm really sad about. So once I've used up my bits from her, I'll have to find someone else to buy these things from. So then I'm going to take the backing off of here. And then we've got our shaker element. So then I'm going to just heat emboss my happy birthday sentiment onto some navy cardstock. I'm going to do that in white again. So I cut these balloons in this yellow cardstock as well because I wasn't sure. I'm still not sure because I really like the brightness of these, but I like that these kind of like look a bit more classy. I think I'm going to go with these yellow ones. These are just cut from the same yellow as this. So I'm going to pop these up on some foam pads. And then I'll pop some foam strips behind the sentiment. I'll pop my sentiment on there, and then I'm just going to trim off the excess of these little strings. And then how cute is that? So for this final one, it's actually the dinosaur that I'm going to do in pattern paper and the balloon. So then for this one, I've got coral 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch card blank, and then I've got a piece of white cardstock that's 1/2 inch smaller, and I'm just adding some of my Salvage Patina Distress Oxide ink to the top of it. And I'm going to leave this bit kind of patchy. I'm not going for a nice smooth look because I think it looks kind of cloudy that way, like a nice summer sky. And then I'm going to use some of these cute washi tapes that we used for one of the other cards. I'm just going to put some of those at the bottom. And then what I'm going to do is just wrap the edges around the back, just so that the sides are nice and neat. So I'm going to make up my dinosaur. So then I want to use this hooray, so I want to pop that up on here. So I'm going to do this before I add it onto here so that I can cut the edges. Then I'll turn that over, chop off the ends. Then I'm going to add this on with some foam pads. In fact, actually, let's just glue this onto my card front first. Then I can add on our cute little dino. And then I'm just going to use the 6 as a number this time, not as a balloon. And then that's another cute card finished. So then there we've got all of today's cards. A little mixture of some really cutesy ones and some like age ones. So I hope it's given you some ideas for using your washi and your pattern papers with your dies. Please do let me know which is your favourite card in the comments below. I love to hear which is your favourite. If you enjoyed today's video, then I'd really appreciate you clicking like below, and you can also press subscribe if you'd like to see future videos. If you press the bell button and select all, then YouTube will also notify you when I've got a new video available. All of the products that I've used for today's cards are listed in the description below, and you can also find a link there to my blog where you can find a picture supply list if that helps you find what you're looking for. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope to see you again soon.